Tap rack. That shout hit my ears while my hands froze, because the gun on my belt was supposed to be the safe bet. It wasn't. Dead trigger. Half-second pause. People staring. Instructor not even mad. Just disappointed. Week before that, I ran my mouth like I had it all figured out. Same safe bet speech I've said 100 times. And right there on the clock, it folded. I cleared it, finished the drill, but my ego stayed on the floor. What bailed me out wasn't some internet darling. It was the pistol people talked down on. The good for the money one. It ran like it had something to prove. So this list isn't about famous names. It's 10 handguns people underestimated in 2026 and quietly got proven wrong about. Because under sweat, junk ammo, and rush draws, they didn't fold. And one of these made me ditch a gun I used to defend like an idiot. I still hate that part. The Canik Mete SF sat low in the glass case like it already knew the score. Up top was the shrine. Price tags that made guys stand straighter. Names said like passwords. Down low, the meat looked like it got parked there to catch impulse buys and second guesses. Late February, out by Amarillo, in one of those little shops tucked behind a feed store, off the frontage road. Dust skated across the lot when trucks rolled through. Bell on the door. Fluorescent buzz. The AC fought hard and still lost. The counter guy ran me like a script. 2 serious pistols first. Slid across the glass, gentle as a handshake. Then he paused and pushed the Canik over like it was nothing. Before you decide, run that. In my head, it already had a label. Value gun. The thing you settle for when you couldn't swing the real one. So I started looking for the catch. Worked the slide harder than I needed to. Tried to feel something loose. Something cheap hiding in there. I pressed the trigger again. Slow, then fast. Same wall, same clean break. Same reset snapping back like it didn't care what I thought. And the guns up top, they started feeling like they were charging rent for a name. People still talk about the Mete SF like it's a compromise. I walked out, still waiting. For the moment, it proves me right for doubting it. Last month, I was walking back to my truck in downtown New Braunfels after running errands. I'd slipped the PSA Dagger Micro in my pocket that morning, almost as a joke. Most people treat these cheap micros like disposable range toys. I sure as hell did. 2 guys started following me a little too close through the parking lot. My stomach dropped. I put my hand in my pocket and the Dagger Micro was right there. When I gripped it, the texture bit into my sweaty palm, harder than I expected. I drew it fast and low against my leg as I turned around. They saw it and froze. Then they split off without a word. I stood there breathing hard, staring at this tiny, cheap pistol in my hand. The dot was easy to find. The grip felt surprisingly solid. It had disappeared all day, and then worked when I needed it. For a second, I actually felt stupid for how much I'd underestimated it. But even as I put it back in my pocket, that uneasy feeling stayed with me. I still don't like how much I trusted it in that moment. It performed way better than it had any right to, and that bothers me more than it should. I always wrote off PSA stuff as bottom shelf junk. Now I'm carrying one, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Honestly, a lot of people are going to get surprised in 2026 when they finally give these a real chance. The next gun on this list surprised me even more. I bought the CZ Shadow 2 Compact almost as a joke. Everyone says the full-size version is a competition beast, but I wanted to test if the Compact could actually handle real daily carry. Most people called it too thick and heavy. I figured I'd try it for a month and be done. That month turned into 3. One afternoon, I was walking my dog on a quiet trail outside Kerrville when a loose dog charged out of the brush, teeth out. I drew the Shadow 2 Compact fast. That steel frame and perfect grip angle locked into my hand solid, even while I was fighting to control my own dog. The other dog backed off. I stood there afterward, heart hammering, staring at this gun most people sleep on. It's heavy for its size. It prints more than the micros, but it shoots and feels like something twice the price. I keep waiting for it to feel like a mistake, but that day still hasn't come. Here's what actually pisses me off. I spent years believing all the internet noise that competition-style guns don't belong on your belt for real carry. Turns out I was the dumbass, not the gun. And if you're still avoiding steel guns with good triggers for the same reasons, you might be next. Earlier this year, West Texas wind pushing grid across the bays, while everybody laid out the same modern lineup. Striker guns everywhere, dots, comps, aggressive textures that chewed up palms, guys doing that little pre-class ritual, checking screws, tapping optics, talking like their setup was the whole point. Then an older guy set an HK USP down like a lunchbox. Big slide, old controls. Heavy looking next to all the modern plastic. Nobody mocked it out loud, but the silence said enough. My own brain joined in. Outdated. Too big. Too much. And the worst part? I didn't want to respect it because respecting it meant admitting I avoided it for the same reason I avoid other truths. It's a brick on your belt. Drills started and the line got noisy in a familiar way. Dots needed attention. Plates got checked. Little tools came out. Guys started diagnosing their guns instead of running them. That USP didn't ask for anything. It just kept cycling with this calm, settled rhythm, like it had already survived every trend in front of it. And every clean run from that old HK made me feel smaller because my modern excuse started sounding like comfort dressed up as logic. I still didn't want that weight on me. I still don't. But I walked off the line with a sour thought I couldn't shake. Maybe the brick was never the problem. What came after that wasn't heavy at all. It was the kind of gun people buy as a placeholder until it starts acting permanent. Earlier this year, West Texas wind pushing grid across the bays, while everybody laid out the same modern lineup. Striker guns everywhere, dots, comps, aggressive textures that chewed up palms, guys doing that little pre-class ritual, checking screws, tapping optics, talking like their setup was the whole point. Then an older guy set an HK USP down like a lunchbox. Big slide, old controls. Heavy looking next to all the modern plastic. Nobody mocked it out loud, but the silence said enough. My own brain joined in. Outdated. Too big. Too much. And the worst part? I didn't want to respect it because respecting it meant admitting I avoided it for the same reason I avoid other truths. It's a brick on your belt. Drills started and the line got noisy in a familiar way. Dots needed attention. Plates got checked. Little tools came out. Guys started diagnosing their guns instead of running them. That USP didn't ask for anything. It just kept cycling with this calm, settled rhythm, like it had already survived every trend in front of it. And every clean run from that old HK made me feel smaller because my modern excuse started sounding like comfort dressed up as logic. I still didn't want that weight on me. I still don't. But I walked off the line with a sour thought I couldn't shake. Maybe the brick was never the problem. What came after that wasn't heavy at all. It was the kind of gun people buy as a placeholder until it starts acting permanent. Most people laugh when you say Taurus in 2026. I used to be one of them. Cheap brand, questionable reputation, not something you admit you're carrying. I bought the GX4 carry on a complete whim just to see what the hype was about. Slim, optics ready, actually decent capacity. I figured it would be another disappointment I'd sell in a month. Instead, I kept carrying it, quietly, for weeks. It disappeared under a t-shirt better than half the premium micros I've tried. The trigger was surprisingly good. It never bit me during long drives or long work days. Nobody at the range ever asked what I was running because it just looked normal, forgettable. That's the part that gets me. This gun is sitting right there in plain sight, doing everything most guys say they want from a carry pistol, and almost nobody takes it seriously. They scroll past it looking for the next shiny thing, while this one just keeps working without drama or drama pricing. I didn't expect to respect a Taurus this much. I sure as hell didn't expect it to quietly become one of my most used guns this year. And I'm starting to think a whole lot of people are sleeping on something they shouldn't be. The hole in the glass case caught my eye before the guns did again. Same shop in my town. I kept drifting into like it was a habit. Off the service road, tucked behind a tire place, dust on the sidewalk, and a bell that sounded tired. I wasn't shopping I was doing that lazy lap gun guys do when they swear they're not spending money. The Beretta APX A1 used to sit in that case like background noise. Month after month, I treated it like a landmark. If it's still there next week, if prices drop, if I get bored, always later, always safe. But that day, the little tag was still there, and the gun was gone. I asked like I didn't care. Real casual. The guy behind the counter didn't grin, didn't sell me anything. He just nodded once like he'd answered the same question all week. Those don't sit anymore. And it hit me how stupid my logic was. I ignored it because the APX names felt forgettable. Meanwhile, the A1 version stayed optics ready, shot flatter than it looked, and people who actually ran their guns started buying them without making a big show about it. No hype wave. Just quiet hands reaching into the case until the case stayed empty. I walked out annoyed at myself, checking other counters like a junkie. And if you waited on this one too, you're already behind. And if you missed the APX wave, the next one's worse. Because it vanishes first, then people start pretending they never doubted it. You know what? I completely slept on the IWI Masada Slim. For months, I saw it sitting on shelves and scrolled right past it. Israeli gun, weird name, looked like another generic polymer pistol trying too hard. I trusted the louder brands instead. Big mistake, then supply started drying up quietly. In my town, all shops gettings stopped getting them in. Online listings went from in stock to notify me overnight. That's when I finally bought one, more out of curiosity than confidence. I carried it for a month straight, and it slowly fucked with my head. It's thinner than it looks, disappears under a t-shirt, better than most slim guns I've tried. The grip is surprisingly natural, the trigger is crisp without being gimmicky, and it runs like it was built by people who actually understand carry, not just marketing. No hot spots, no printing when I sit for hours, just quiet competence. Now I'm hunting for a second one and kicking myself, because these things are getting hard to find. IWI isn't pumping them out like Glock or SIG, and once serious carriers figure out how good the Masada Slim actually is, the ones left are going to get stupid expensive. I spent all year chasing known good guns while completely missing one that was right there doing everything better for daily life. I misunderstood this pistol from day one, and I'm not the only one. I fought the Ruger Max 9 harder than I should have. Every time I saw it, I rolled my eyes. Another micro 9mm trying to be the next big thing. Too small, too ugly. Just another plastic gun chasing the P365 crowd. I told myself I was above it. Then the shelves started emptying. Not loud. Not with hype. Quietly. 1 month the Max 9 was everywhere. Next month, shops were saying, "We can't keep them in stock." Used prices jumped. People who swore they'd never carry a Ruger started posting photos of theirs. That's when I finally broke down and bought one. And it pissed me off how good it actually is. It's smaller than it has any right to be with 12+1. The grip texture actually works when your hands are sweaty. It disappears so completely, I forget I'm carrying it until I need it. I've run it hard for weeks now. Dusty trucks, long days, rain, sweat, and it just keeps going without drama. Here's the uncomfortable part. I wasted months chasing better brands while this ugly little Ruger was sitting there being exactly what most people actually need in 2026. Cheap, reliable, high capacity, and actually invisible. I was wrong about it. And if you're still sleeping on the Max 9 because of the name on the slide, you're probably wrong too. This one hurts to admit. I ignored the Grand Power K100 for a long time. Some weird Slovenian pistol with a rotating barrel sounded like internet nerd shit. I kept scrolling past it, buying guns with names I recognized instead. Then one day, a guy at the range let me shoot his. I picked it up expecting nothing, and it quietly ruined every other carry gun I owned. The trigger is stupidly crisp. The gun balances perfectly. It shoots flatter and softer than guns twice the price. I bought one the next week and started carrying it daily. It disappears on the belt, runs every ammo I throw at it. No hot spots after 12-hour days, no drama. Now, the good ones are getting scarce. The ones with the best triggers are already disappearing from shops. People who actually shoot a lot are quietly buying them up while everyone else is still chasing the usual suspects. This is the best everyday carry pistol I've tested this year, and almost nobody is talking about it. Not because it's bad, because it doesn't have the marketing muscle or the cool factor. I resisted it the longest. Turns out it was the one I should have bought first. And if you're still only buying guns you see everywhere, you might be missing the one that actually matters. Not best on paper, not most popular. Just the handguns people didn't expect to matter, the ones they underestimated and ended up trusting anyway. Because when the easy favorites started acting cute, these stayed boring. And boring is what you want when things get real. If your pet pistol didn't show up, good. This list wasn't built to protect feelings. It was built around ugly range days, uncomfortable carry, and the guns that didn't quit when it got messy. Now, tell me the truth. What's the handgun you bought reluctantly, then couldn't stop carrying? And which one on my list pissed you off the most? Because you think it doesn't belong, I'm Steve. Trust gets you lazy, and lazy gets you burned.